Hello guys, welcome to your IELTS reading series with me. I'm Nora and I will be showing you today how to use skimming and scanning skills to get better understanding of the difficult text. These skills help you to quickly retain the right information during exams like IELTS. So let's get started. Okay guys, so let's move on. So what is skimming? Skimming means having a general understanding of the passage. A rough understanding. It excludes specialized information given on the passage. Therefore, it is also called fast reading to get a rough idea of the text. So, how do you skim? In order to skim, all you have to do is just observe the title of the paragraph. You underline the first two lines of the paragraph and the last line, ignoring completely the middle line. And then you highlight the keywords, bold words, headings that stands out to you. It's very simple, guys. So what is the summary? The summary of skimming is that you choose what you read. It is a fast reading method to obtain the general idea or the general understanding of the passage, and it is something you do when you are reading a long article like research papers or something you do on the internet on a day-to-day basis. Let's have a look at this paragraph. And let's highlight the first line and the last two lines. We are doing this because we understand that the writers who wrote this text generally puts the main idea either in the beginning or at the very end of the sentence. The next step for the student is to go directly to the questions, because in IELTS you are given only 60 minutes to go through 3 passages, so you have to save your time. So I have this question right here, and I'm going to read the question carefully, and I'm going to see what the question is asking me to find from the passage, and I'm going to highlight that. So the question wants me to match the headings given below to the paragraph above, and I've already highlighted the first and the last sentence. So the first option I have is healthcare providers under pre-made for quality service. So in this sentence, healthcare providers and quality service, I feel like they are the main noun of the sentence here, so I'm going to highlight that. And moving on to the second sentence, creation of the medical software by premates. So if the paragraph had this title, it would be focused on the creation, so I'm going to highlight that. And moving on to the next one, this one says the failure of a traditional medical practice, so possibly the paragraph above they are talking about the failures. I'm going to highlight that. And the fourth option here is what are the advantages of collaborative efforts. So what stands out to me on this question is the advantages of the joint efforts. So if the passage is about the joint efforts and especially the advantages, it will speak of that. So I'm going to underline this because this resonates more. And finally, how is computer science used in medical fields? So I'm going to highlight use in medical fields because that speaks to me the most about this question. So I've already highlighted it, and I'm going to see if I can find the synonym here. And over here in the first and the last sentence, I can see there's a repetition of the word that resonates with the question. For example, the use of computer software and algorithms by physicians and premates. So basically, I get an idea, a rough idea, that this paragraph is going to talk about the use of certain medical software by the medical people. And let's see the last paragraph, computer programs can also help triage patients. So basically what the computer programs are doing. So I now know for sure that this paragraph has the title, the last very option, which is how is computer science used in medical fields. So I'm going to save that as an answer and move on to the next question. And on to the next question, guys. You can pause and try the question for yourself. And I'm going to do as I have made notes about the skimming for my IELTS class. So I'm going to highlight the first sentence. Because this passage given here is very short, I'm going to highlight the first line only and give it a good read, give it a rough read, and then directly jump to the questions because I have now very less time in all of that 60 minutes to finish my questions. So I'm going to read this question. Match the text to its suitable headings. So the question is just like the previous one. We have to select the perfect heading for this passage. So let's see what the options are available. And once again, I'm going to highlight the words, the nouns that speaks the most from the questions. Okay, so the first one says how advanced medical technology replaces the doctors. So basically, if this passage has this heading, this passage should be talking about the replacement of the doctors in different ways, how the technology is replacing the doctors. I'm going to underline that. So I remember when I come back to the question, if I cannot find the answer, I'm going to do the same for the next two questions. So for example, the second question, it says how dodging advanced technology elevates elderly's health issues. So how avoiding advanced technology elevates elderly's health. So I'm going to underline dodging because that speaks the most to me right now. If this paragraph is about ignoring something, then I know that the second option is going to be my suitable heading for the passage. And similarly, the third option, it says how bearing to AI elevates elderly health issues. So we have a very complex word here, elevates, but I know that it means to reduce, because in option B we have a different word, elevate, which is going up. So this, for sure, I know that it means to go down. So bearing and getting down and elderly. So I'm going to underline this and look for an option from my passage. So I've already highlighted it for you. And in the exam, I'm going to go through the first line. Basically, again, I'm saying it because the writers who write, they generally put the main idea of the paragraph in the first or the last sentence. So the emerging field of the personalized health can apply AI in all sorts of ways to find safer, more effective personal treatment. Okay, so I think from this statement, I can underline the word right here, the phrases right here, to find safer, more effective personal treatment. And over here in the option C, I have underlined bearing, elevates, and elderly. So finding perfect treatment definitely helps reduce, elevates the health issues in elderly. So I'm going to go for this one, and I'm going to move on to the next question. Alright guys, now here we are at the third skimming technique practice with me, and I have once again a paragraph with certain instructions given as questions. So like every other test, I'm going to go through the first line and the last line of the paragraph. I'm going to read it roughly, and then directly I'm going to jump to the question. So this question once again is asking me to match the appropriate title to this text. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to read the question, and I'm going to underline, highlight the words that resonates the most. So for example, question A, the differences between two leading technologies. So I feel like this question, this heading, if this is the heading for this passage, it will be talking about the differences and the 4 leading technologies. So I'm going to highlight just that and move on to the next one. The next question, it says how hydrogen extraction technologies contribute to the environment. So I'm going to underline what could be the technology that affects the environment. So I'm going to highlight hydrogen extraction and contribute. Okay, and the last one, the aftermaths of technological advancement. So the main noun here is the aftermath. So aftermath means the side effects. I know that, so I'm going to underline that and come back to the question again. So by this time, I already know that the passage is going to talk about the environment, the effects of the environment, and the technologies, its contribution to the environment, more or less, which is just a rough idea. So I'm going to proofread it again and see the differences between the two leading technologies. So I know that the passage isn't talking about the differences. Overall, it's talking about the energy. For example, there are environmental concerns with the hydrogen extraction compared to the electric, and mainly because of a lot of energy. So this couldn't be it. There is still a long way to go before the hydrogen extraction technology self-rectify themselves. So I know that this isn't about the technology, because the specific name of the technological companies have not been given, except for the product. So there is very less probability that this could be the heading of the paragraph given above. So I'm going to move on to the next one. I have already highlighted hydrogen extraction and contribution. So I have a gut feeling that this could be the answer, the heading for my text right here, because once again, there is an environmental concern with the hydrogen extraction, which basically speaks is a paraphrasement of the question. And also the last sentence, there's still a long way for the name is been repeating constantly. Hydrogen extraction technologies self-rectify themselves. It's talking about the time period. So I have my eyes fixed on this one, but also let's see the last option, the aftermaths of the technological advancement. So I know this is not the aftermaths, and I'm going to cross that out, and I'm going to lock my answer to option B, and I'm going to move on to my next question. Okay guys, now let's move on to scanning. Scanning means to quickly look at the given text for specific details. When you are scanning, you're searching more and reading very less. It's almost like you're hunting for the specific words. When you're scanning more. Remember that. You must quickly scan over the page, front and back, up and down. What you find by scanning generally are dates, events, names, etc. Okay guys, so we have a fresh new exercise on the scanning technique. Although we have already used this paragraph, now we know that we have some idea on this. Let's not read the paragraph, but let's go directly to the question. I'm going to read the question now, and it seems that the question is asking to identify if the statements are true or false. So I'm going to read the question and highlight the words that stands out the most. So it helps me to understand the instruction of the question, and thus helping me to locate the right answer. So the question goes, these softwares can help medical staff prioritize patients to general medical treatment pathways. So normally with the true or false question, I tend to underline the verb the most, because it asserts the action happening or not happening. And you can have your own technique, but I'm gonna just underline this and go back to the text which I've already read, and I'm going to see if I can find this paraphrasement of the given word, of the given phrase. So the use of computer software algorithms by physicians and pre-meds can assist in medical decisions, can assist, that could resonate. And in the last line, computer programs can also help triage patients to specific medical treatment pathways, and pre-meds can help hospitals create algorithm. So over here for my question, the softwares can help medical staff prioritize patients. So I feel like the closest answer comes from the last sentence of this given paragraph, where it specifically says in the beginning, can also help triage. So that makes me sure that this is a true statement, because this statement talks about helping patients to direct medical treatment pathways. So I'm gonna state my answer and move on to the next question. Okay guys, now let's move on to the next question. Over here I have the same paragraph I took from earlier with a different question. Let's read the question and let's try to understand the instruction it wants us to find. Complete the following sentences. So basically it's fill in the blanks kind of thing, without the options being given, and we have to fish from the paragraph given above. So what do I have to find? Let's see. Supporting the dash patients of age. So patients, so possibly I might be looking for what kind of patients. Patients with certain sickness or patients who belong to the certain age group. So it's like the type. So I need to locate the type of the patients who will be getting the support. So supporting the blank patients of age to receive treatment that incorporates, basically this could mean a kind of a service. Okay, so I need to find the type and the service, and I'm going to go back to my paragraph and see if I can find it. Okay, so I've already read the first line. Now I know that it's not here, so I'm going to quickly scan the entirety of the paragraph very quickly. This could mean helping elderly people, so I have this helping elderly people already. So I'm gonna put elderly here, receive the treatment that incorporates their childhood. So I know for sure that the answer could be childhood medical history. It's a kind of a service, and I'm gonna put that there, and we have our answers. Now I'm going to move on to the next one. Okay guys, so we have a brand new paragraph here. Please feel free to pause and solve the problems for yourself, or you can choose to do it together with me. Okay, so we have the passage which we already had in the skimming section. Now we are going to scan for the information. So let's read the questions. The question says, state whether the following statement are true or false. So basically I have to see if the statement are true or false, and I'm going to read the question. Let's see. Electric technologies consume huge amount of energy. So the consumption of the energy by the electric technology, I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to come to my paragraph over here. I've already read the first I've already read the first line and the last line, and I have a feeling I can find the answer here. So let's see that again. Currently there are environmental concerns with hydrogen extraction technologies compared to electric. So it's the other way around, so I'm going to put false here. False because it's the hydrogen extraction technologies which consume more energy and not the electric ones. Okay, so my next question is hydrogen extraction contributes scarcely to the global warming. So from this statement itself, I know that it's true, so I'm going to highlight that, but just to make sure, I'm going to quickly scan the rest bit of the paragraph just to make sure that I have not been misled by the tricky words. So very quickly, it's the most expensive, costly, so it couldn't be here. Okay, and the last in the middle somewhere, therefore hydrogen can be considered as the indirect greenhouse gas. Okay, so this statement, it makes the statement more clear, especially the use of an indirect effect agent. So I'm gonna go here and mark this statement as true. And that's for it today, guys. I hope you found my tips and tricks for IELTS skimming and scanning section really helpful. If you like this, please give me a thumbs up. It really helps me. And since it's my very first video, it would be very helpful for me. So thank you and see you soon.